If you are looking for help in preventing corporate burnout, you are in the right place. In this video, I'm going to talk about ways to prevent burnout and the things that have worked for me. Now, note, this is not medical advice. I am not a doctor. I do not play one on TV. So if you are really struggling, please call for assistance, talk to your doctor, find a therapist. But I am going to talk about the things that have worked for me over the years. And I'm also here to let you know that you are not alone, my friend, because most professionals at some point in their careers have experienced burnout. So let's first pause and acknowledge the fact that you are here. You're taking the time to learn about burnout so that way you can prevent it. Because if you're watching a video on this topic, chances are you're already feeling some of the signs. And the signs of burnout can look really different for different people. Sometimes we just know we're feeling tired and we don't feel like doing things, right? Or maybe you skip out on those things that you normally enjoy. And for me, that was a sign too. You could be a little edgy, you are snapping at people and something you're just feeling off, right? There are also many physical symptoms that tell us that we're experiencing burnout. Headaches, tension in our muscles. People hold their stress in different ways. And trust me, with world events and politics and so much happening in the world, that can get us down for sure. So it's how we handle these things, how we can try and operate at our best. So whether you're feeling it already or you want to prevent it, here are some tips that have worked for me. And one of the first ones is a practice of self-care. Now, notice I didn't just say self-care, because when people just hear that term, they go out and they get a massage and they think, okay, great, I had my self-care. But it's how can you make self-care part of your routine, right? Like exercise. Obviously, exercise is a great part of self-care. You're taking care of your body and it can reduce stress. And it's a community opportunity for you to hang out with friends that you see at the gym or you see at your workout class, right? And exercise is also helpful in self-care because it makes you tired so you can get a good night's sleep. And that is an essential part of self-care. I remember when I was talking to my doctor a few years ago and I was having a tough time falling asleep and staying asleep. And he said, Diana, sleep is essential. It is foundational. Otherwise, that's why you're groggy. That's why you're snapping at people. So this is where routine is key. Can you get to bed roughly around the same time every night? Can you put your phone in another room? I know that's tough. Can you at least put your phone at a different side of the bedroom so it's not tempting? I know a lot of people say, well, I want to be able to be reached in case of emergency. Totally get that. I got you covered because what you can do on the iPhone in your contacts is you can select emergency bypass on. That means that when I go to sleep, the phone will not disturb me for text messages or emails from most humans. But when my kids or my husband need to reach me and they send me a text, that will come through and I will hear it. So use your emergency bypass on for those people. Now, another part of self-care is just fun. Fun is healthy. You have a weekend, enjoy it. Take advantage of it, especially my self-employed people. I know how hard it is to turn things off. Or maybe you just love your work and you want to keep at it. I get that. But we have to give ourselves breaks. We are more creative and productive when we step away for a little bit. Now, another part of self-care is to get grounded. Now, I know some of my folks that aren't into meditation or journaling, that might not be good for you, but we need something to clear the mind. If you can do meditation, journaling, yoga, that's great. If you want to do something else much more simple, just take a 5-minute nature break. We just want you to get grounded either in the morning or maybe as you wrap up your workday. You might remember the nature breaks from the pandemic when all of a sudden everyone was on screens all the time. So here in California, I can step outside, take my nature break. But if you are in the Midwest or it's snowing or raining wherever you are, just take a break for a few minutes, daydream, look outside, look at the sky. I actually see a lot of butterflies over here, but no music, no news, no podcast, just you and your dog and 5 minutes of daydreaming. Now, community is very important for your self-care. Talk to friends, coworkers. Don't take for granted those relationships. That's when I started to feel it at the end of last year. I was taking a big trip to Spain and I was so consumed with that planning and wrapping up my own work that I didn't respond to friends. I let text messages go, or I was really late in responding and I didn't get together with anyone. And I regret that. I kind of felt like I was missing out. So now, February, I already have, half the month planned. And it's not just the event that is so important, it is looking forward to something. So we have these events to help us look forward to the future, getting together with people, to keep thinking about something else other than work. Now, you can lean into your coworkers if you're feeling burnt out. And then you can start to see, like, hey, is this just me? Or is this the environment? Is this the place that we work at? Or maybe it's this project. I'm going to give you a hint in a few minutes about how to talk to management when everyone's feeling burnt out. Okay, so after self care, the other thing we want to think about is boundaries. And there are different types of boundaries. Okay. First, of course, there's the boundary of time. Do you have a relatively set schedule that people know when you're available and then they know when they can expect to hear from you? Even if there's a little wiggle room, sometimes we do need to work late or we need to leave early, and that's fine. But remember, we want to prevent burnout. Even if you love your job and you're enjoying what you're doing, everyone needs some type of downtime. So it's important to get clear on availability. You can set office reminders. A lot of the platforms give you a place to toggle whether you're in or out or just unavailable. And I was working with a woman last year and she was based in London, and I was impressed by her email signature because not only did she say, I'm in London, but she said, I am available these time frames. So it wasn't just clarifying the time zone. She was telling me when I would expect to hear from her. So not only was that, it was helpful for me, but for her, she can sleep at night and she can wrap up her day knowing that everyone else now knows when they're going to hear from her. And when I went on vacation, when I had a team reporting to me, I would say, look, I'm not going to check email, but if you need me, if something is an emergency or critical, text me. And guess what? They didn't text me. They didn't need to, but we all felt comfortable knowing that if I did need to have a conversation, if they did need to reach me, they could. And it prevented me from scrolling through all my emails to see if there was something important. And then all of a sudden you get sucked into hours of email, which is not what you want to do when you're on vacation. So there's also a lot of boundary creep for anyone who works from home, right? How do you separate your work life and your home life? So for me, I walk the dog. And actually, my Murphy is just sitting down right here, but I'll try and walk him at the end of the day. I will take some time to scroll for news or socials, but some type of transition that tells my brain, okay, I'm going to start into something else. I'm going to be available for my family, especially if you live with anyone, you have a roommate, whoever you live with. It's important for them to know if you are still working. So if I'm in the house and I have my laptop, I might go into a corner or I'll just close up my laptop and say, okay, I'm done. That way they know that you're available and it's a sign. That way they don't feel like they're bothering you. And that way you don't feel like you're bothered by them. But it's up to you to set those boundaries so that they know when you are available. Now, the other type of boundary is scope of work. Learning to say no. Are you overcommitted? Sometimes someone might ask for your help and you want to be a part of things, but ask those clarifying questions. See who else is involved, who else can do these things, and when is it due? Because you will be pleasantly surprised, my friend. Not everything is due by 5 o'clock today. Not everything is due tomorrow, but you got to verify first. That way you're not feeling so overwhelmed. And no matter where you work, at home or in the office, you've got to schedule some breaks, not just your lunch break, but hopefully a little mid-morning break and a little afternoon walk just around the corner or just down the hall. And yes, when it comes to lunch, stop eating at your desk. I know we all do it. I have been guilty of it. I stopped doing it, and it is such an amazing relief. And every company has a little corner. They have a break room or they have a conference room you can steal away in. Try to not eat at your desk. By the way, they did a study, and because of people eating at their desks, their keyboards, their desks are kind of gross. So that's one thing to remember, but you just need a little break. So if there's no real good place in the office for you to eat your lunch, just maybe you can leave for 5 minutes, go grab your Chipotle, eat your burrito, and then come back. So we've talked about boundaries, we've talked about self-care, and maybe you're still feeling a little overwhelmed. This is where you might need to have a conversation with your manager or the team lead on this project, right? And you just want to discuss workload and expectations. And it's okay to ask for help. Remember the old saying, asking for help is a sign of strength, not of weakness, because it shows that you care. And you want to approach it from a positive standpoint. You want to be productive and meet the goals, but you just want to clarify the items that are really going to move the needle so that way you aren't taken back by all this busy work and stuff that can wait. And by talking to your boss or the leader, this is called sharing up, okay? It helps your boss understand how long it takes to do things, how complex it is, and the depth of resources needed. Because I guarantee you, there are times when your boss does not really know the full extent of how long it takes to do things, of how other people don't get back to you on time. So it's up to you to share these things in case they aren't fully aware. And then between you and the manager, you can figure out, do some adjustments need to happen? Is there a deadline? Are there more resources? Can we bring in some additional help? Now, when it comes to getting help, again, not medical advice here, but if you are feeling overwhelmed, talk to a therapist and give it some time. Because when my doctor made a recommendation and I started making some phone calls, guess what? It takes time to find the right person. First of all, I had to call 5 or 6 people to find someone who was on my health insurance and taking new clients, right? But then you got to find someone who is a good fit. But that's the beauty of some of these company sponsored programs where you have someone online, virtual therapists that you can meet at any time. Because if you meet them and you're just not a good fit, you just don't vibe with them, you can say, thank you very much, and you can find another one. Okay. So again, give it some time and find the person who is a right fit for you. That's what worked for me. And I hope these tips help you prevent burnout and lead to your personal and professional success. Please comment below. Let me know other questions you have about work and careers. I am Diana Bernal, and you can follow me here on LinkedIn. Drop me a comment, give a thumbs up, and I'll see you next week.